This week on Theme Park Bar, we're going to Halloween Horror Nights. Halloween Horror Nights this year is massive. Being the 30th anniversary, it only makes sense. 30 years, 30 fears. 10 brand new haunted houses, 5 scare zones, 2 shows, and a whole plethora of specialty food and drink. We have a lot of ground to cover here, and I want to make sure we don't miss a single drink. Now we're going to start off with the 2 signature drinks, and what I mean by the signature drinks is these are the 2 drinks you're going to find all over the park at all the temporary specialty cocktail bars, drink tents, whatever you want to call them, they're going to find all throughout the event. There's actually 9 this year, more than the previous event, and you know, I'm a big fan of that, and I know you guys are too, because who really wants to go hunting for a drink that hard? First up is going to be the Ghoul Juice. This is a mango rum punch. It's made with Myers Original Dark Rum, cherry brandy, lime juice, and allspice bitters. It's very fun. It's a very fruity cocktail. It's very accessible. It's your quintessential Blinky cup drink. It has a lot of fun stuff going in here. Using the allspice bitters and the cherry brandy is something you don't see too often in the theme parks. Myers Dark Rum also brings a nice funkiness to it. Jamaican rum is made with molasses instead of sugar cane, so it has a nice little, little funk on the nose there. But this is going to be your standard Blinky cup drink. It's very sweet, very fruity, bright and colorful, not offensive at all. This is a very tasty drink, and you can find this all over the place, but I think the best place to get it is at the Twisted Tater booth, because, if you're going to have a Blinky cup, you got to have the quintessential Halloween Horror Nights snack, the Twisted Tater, of course. Now, directly across from the Twisted Tater booth is going to be a bar that is very clearly inspired by Netflix's Haunting of Hill House, and that's where a perfect place to get the second of the 2 signature cocktails, the Poison Tea Party. And I love the Poison Tea Party. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. It's kind of like a tropical, boozy Arnold Palmer, if you will, also known as a John Daly in some circles. Now, it's made with Myers Original Dark Rum. Again, you're going to find this stuff all over the park this year, with Honest Brand half tea, half lemonade. There's your Arnold Palmer part. A little bit of blue curacao, huckleberry, and allspice bitters. The allspice bitters give a nice little essence of tiki spice. The huckleberry adds, some huckleberry flavor to it. Who doesn't love a berry lemonade? And the blue curacao adds a touch of orange. Now, the presentation of this one is awesome as well. They will serve it to you if you ask in the Blinky cup, because, you got to rep the Blinky Cup Club. But typically, it's going to be served into a plastic little disposable teacup, which, really adds to that whole tea party vibe. Topped with a dehydrated orange, it really kind of drives home that creepy, poison, death is right around the corner vibe they're going for at Horror Nights. And as a side note, if you do go to this booth, they have some amazing grilled cheese sandwiches. The jalapeno grilled cheese is honestly one of the best snacks I've had in Universal in a very long time. Now, hey, if rum really isn't your thing, don't worry. Those may be the 2 signature drinks, but there are a couple of supporting players out in the park as well. The first one I'm going to talk about is going to be the Wicked Old Fashioned Whiskey and Coke. This is going to be found in the New York section of the park, just outside of the Seek and Destroy Scare Zone. I've been calling these tents the Carnival of Carnage tents because, well, it reflects directly to the Carnival of Carnage show back in 2007, with references to Tiny with his deep fried Twinkies and Dr. Pignetti, which is a name I never thought I would hear in Horror Nights ever again. Now, we can't really be having a conversation about Halloween Horror Nights, especially on an anniversary year, without mentioning Jack the Clown, and his representation is clearly this cocktail, the Wicked Old Fashioned Whiskey and Coke. This drink is, it sounds way more complicated than it tastes, but it is still pretty dang tasty. This drink is made with Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, Coke Zero, cherry brandy, and a house-made Demerara old-fashioned syrup, which is going to have a little bit of bitters, sugar in there. Sounds more complicated than it is. This kind of just really tastes like a slightly elevated whiskey and cherry Coke, which I'm not against. I wouldn't go as far to call this as a fancy daddy whiskey cherry Coke, more like a kind of like a Yeti dad. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. No, don't take that as a knock. This drink was tasty, and it was my first Blinky Cup drink of the year, and man, it felt good to take a sip of that. Now we're going to move our way just around the corner here. Directly across from Monsters Cafe and the Jimmy Fallon gift shop is the Coca-Cola barbecue tent, also very clearly inspired by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the Texas Heat Margarita. As you can guess by the name, they're going for a little bit of a spicy margarita thing going on. It's going to be made with a Blanco tequila, El Jimador Blanco specifically, some blue curacao, which is going to give it a nice, fun color, Hella smoked chili bitters, Hella is the name of the brand, which I just love that name, lime juice, agave nectar, pretty straightforward stuff. There's also going to be some tamarind in there, and then some sprinkling of tahini. Now, it's called the Texas Heat Margarita, and this might sound silly, but to me, it reminded me more of drinks I've had in Southern California. The tahini, especially, the little bit of the lemon and the spice going on. The tamarind has a very sweet and tangy flavor to it. This was actually a very, very great cocktail, and probably my favorite of the exclusive drinks at Halloween Horror Nights this year. Like I said, it wasn't too spicy, it was very crisp, a good bit of a tang to it. I highly recommend it. Maybe even pair it with some of the Coca-Cola barbecued lamb, or, you know, Leatherface's cherry pie, because look at that thing. That thing is ridiculous. Now for our third and final supporting Blinky Cup drink, but fifth signature drink overall, we're going to be heading towards the back of the park to this fun little hub area, right by the London bathrooms, right by the Springfield Bridge. It's going to be over where the Halloween Nightmare Fuel is going to exit or load in, depending on, I guess, the time of day, really. This is a bar inspired by my favorite haunted house this year, Wicked Growth Realm of the Pumpkin. We're going to get ourselves some Bog Slime. Kind of a weird sounding drink, but it's very, very tasty, in my humble opinion. It's going to be made with gin, New Amsterdam gin specifically, cardamom syrup, a house-made matcha, and some lime juice. Now, this is a drink I did enjoy a lot. Very citrusy, very surprisingly citrusy. They do list the lime juice as one of the ingredients in here. To me, it tasted more lemony than limey. Very good, slightly earthy flavors going on, especially because of the matcha, of course, and the cardamom. This is a drink I think you're either going to love or not. I don't think there's going to be a lot of middle ground with this cocktail. Now, this is a drink I'm a big fan of. I am a gin lover. I love everything that's kind of going on in this drink, but I also can understand why this might not be for everyone. I'm very excited to get this one again and pair it up with some of those pumpkin gyoza, which are just an amazing snack as well. There's a lot of good snacks. I like snacking as much as I like drinking. Now, if cocktails quite aren't your thing, you're more of a beer drinker, don't you worry, because Universal has brought in 2 brand new beers exclusively to Halloween Horror Nights events. The first one is going to be Hackerschwar Oktoberfest beer. Now, I want to apologize to anyone of German descent if I butchered the pronunciation of that, because I am 99% sure that I did. Now, this Oktoberfest beer is the real deal. This isn't some American-made stuff. If you go to Munich, if you go to the quote-unquote true Oktoberfest, there's only 6 breweries that have their beer served there, and this is one of them. If you want a traditional Oktoberfest beer, this is what you're looking for. Now, the other draft beer they're bringing is Whole Hog Pumpkin Ale. This has replaced the very popular Shipyard Pumpkin Head, and I gotta say, I think this is a very nice upgrade. This comes with a very strong pumpkin spiced flavor without being too sweet. That's always my biggest complaint with the anything pumpkin-y flavor. I'm not a huge fan of pumpkin beer, but I love this stuff. It has a very strong pumpkin spice going on without being sugary, without tasting like a dessert. This feels like a beer, and that's what I really like when I drink my beer. When I'm drinking beer, I want it to taste like beer. How many times can we say beer? One more time, because there's one more beer you have to get, and that is of course going to be the very popular Dufftoberfest that you can only find in Springfield section of the park. You can get this in Duff Gardens or Moe's Tavern, and the great thing about Dufftoberfest is you can get this during the day, you can get this during the event, you can get this in between at Stay and Scream. I love getting a Dufftoberfest while I'm waiting for everything to switch over from daytime operations to nighttime. I can't think of really a better Stay and Scream drink than the Dufftoberfest. Well, maybe a Grateful Dead if we're going to Finnegan's, but that was a different video. Now, we actually have one more drink available inside the park for the event this year. Well, it's not quite a Blinky Cup cocktail, it still deserves a mention here, and that of course is going to be the Ace Space Beer Float. Now, this isn't actually a beer float, this is more of a cider float, specifically Space Bloody Orange Cider, made by Ace Brewing out in California, mixed with some vanilla ice cream, topped with some whipped cream, and another beautiful dehydrated orange. If you're looking for something different, this is definitely something different. This reminds me very much of like a creamsicle float, which I have done since I was a kid with vanilla ice cream and orange soda. Just a little bit more tart, of course, being with the blood orange and a little bit of an alcoholic bite to it. This is definitely a way, if you need to cool down in 4 seconds, this is definitely going to be the way to do it. Now that covers every exclusive drink for Halloween Horns you can find inside the park. Now if none of those are really tickling your fancy, fear not, Chez Alcatraz and Finnegan's are still going to be open for your enjoyment. So if you want to get yourself your classic rum and coke, vodka soda, Long Island iced tea, or some breakfast shots, that's the place to do it. They'll take amazing care of you. Now, I don't want you to think just because you've left Halloween Horror Nights, so the fun is over. Oh no, oh no. If you make your way over to Cabana Bay Beach Resort, you can enjoy the Icons Bar. They turned the Swizzle Lounge to the lobby bar of Cabana Bay into a fun Halloween Horror Nights themed cocktail lounge, with some amazing drinks themed after all of our favorite icons. The drink menu inspired by the icons, it is pretty spot on the money. Of course, we have the Jack, inspired by Jack the Clown. This is just a Jack and Coke with lime. Hey, it's simple, but the joke works. It's Jack and Coke. What more do you want? Of course, you can have Jack without Chance. This one I enjoyed a lot, but I've heard a lot of divisive things. This is going to be made with Bacardi Superior Rum, Apparel, Orange Bitters, topped with soda water, and orange. This is just like Chance. A little sweet, a little bitter, a little bit of a bite to it. This is going to be one of those ones you're going to love or hate. I enjoyed this cocktail. Very classic tiki flavors going on there. Definitely more on the bitter side of things, but still incredibly tasty. The third icon featured with their own drink is going to be my personal favorite, the Director. So you know I had to spring the extra $3 for the souvenir skull cup. Besides, who doesn't love a souvenir skull cup, am I right? This is inspired by a classic cocktail known as the Blushin' Russian, which is made with Kettle One vodka, Kahlua, amaretto, and cream. It's a Caucasian. It's a white Russian with a little bit of amaretto. Very straightforward. Coffee, a little nutty. Of course, he's from Eastern European, so you have to have the vodka in there. Very tasty, very sweet, very creamy, a delicious, fantastic dessert cocktail. They do have a full cocktail list for the spooky times, for the Halloween fun. Here we are trying the Black Magic, Vanilla Vodka, Grand Marnier, Orange Soda, and a little bit of edible glitter. This was incredibly sweet and tasty. All of the drinks they have at the Swizzle Lounge, or the Icon Bar, I should say. Fantastic stuff. Now remember, when you're going to these bars, make sure you're tipping your bartenders, whether it's a permanent structure like Finnegan's, Chez Alcatraz, or the Icon Bar, or it's a tent. These guys are working hard to keep us hyped and to keep us happy, so please make sure we're taking care of them. Also, when you're going to Halloween Horror Nights and you're having these drinks, please make sure you're being safe and responsible. This video took a couple of weeks to put together because there's a lot of cocktails out there and we needed to be safe and make sure we got home safely. Please have a designated driver. If you don't, make sure you grab a taxi or a rideshare on the 5th floor of the Jurassic Park parking structure, because I want to see you back at Horror Nights. I want to see you in the fog and share a drink with you. I really hope you enjoyed this ultimate bar guide to Halloween Horror Nights 30. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already to become a bar regular. Chat with me all over the internet at ThemeBarPark, and be sure to follow the links below to show your Blinky Cup Club pride. Until next time, everyone, be safe, drink responsibly. Cheers.